Hey, what's up, everyone? So in this video, we are going to be talking about the biggest winners and losers of the most recent Guilty Gear Strive character balance patch that just came out. There are a lot of changes, so let's get into it.
Hey guys, EE here. I'm really excited to bring on this new product from one of our great sponsors on Beastcoast, Sumo Forte. And with me in the chat, I actually have a couple homies who've actually tried this product out already, the Suma tape, which is really good for their gaming needs.
And they have this transdermal mentholated CBD tape.
I've actually been really looking forward to trying this out. Dude, it does feel good though. I'm not gonna lie.
So winners, right? So I think the first one we have to talk about would be Ino. Ino. And the thing I like about Ino's especially is not even talking about like how her 5H floats and stuff like that. Like the real big one that I thought she really needed, and like high key, she could have been the same character and they just added this thing, is making her air dash faster and her dash faster. Because the biggest issue I thought she had, in my opinion, before was that like her game plan was really volatile, because since she couldn't move around the screen quickly, she had to preempt a lot with normals like rising jump heavy, random dives, things like that, a random stroke, right, until you get meter. Then once you get meter, you can actually threaten and play a solid neutral game, because every character has a different response to Fortissimo, so then you could just play around that. Where now she won't have to commit as hard to things, and she can actually use her movement and her unique movement to kind of maneuver around things in a way that she could not before. I think she really needed this and really benefited, and they give her other stuff on top of that too. So I think she's probably like the '1 big winner of this patch, straight up.
Yeah, for sure. I totally noticed it too. I played at my local yesterday, and there was a bunch of Ino players, and I was like, "Damn, she's dashing so quickly now." Like in the mid ranges, where I'll be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna like six spear like real easily," and I was like, "Oh, damn, she like just travels like that like just that right amount of distance to like when you like kind of respect her other like special moves and stuff." It's actually pretty scary now to fight her. Yeah, she got like some buffs to like her normals as well. But yeah, the dash buff, the grounded dash and the hover dash, like that was definitely the biggest buff for her. She's a huge winner of this patch.
Another one would have to be Lord Anji. So I will, disclaimer, I haven't actually seen what the new fusion looks like. He can apparently like whiff cancel them, which is something I'm never a big fan of, but it does in theory help his game a lot. As far as like versus Anji in general, like the characters that are fast that have like a lot of non-committal buttons, so like Milia, Chipp, maybe now Ino, wink wink, like I don't know, do pretty well against him, because they don't have to again commit to doing stuff while he's doing the armor. But also there are a bunch of characters who can't do that, and they usually try to like control space by preempting a lot, and he was already pretty good against that, and now I feel like he has a little bit more deterrent because of that. Also, it makes kind of that box string guessing game a little bit more ambiguous. I think, emphasis on
Yeah, I think so. I think it actually does. So the big thing is now you can like whiff cancel, right? Before, a lot of Anji players would like kind of condition you, and they would use his like regular spin. They would special cancel into it, and if you hit a button, then it would go through and he would punish you. But if you like, so you'd like wait because you were thinking about all his different special cancel options, then he'd just spin, run up, and throw you, and you're like, damn. So what you would do is like you would react to him spinning with throw, if you're like looking for it. But now, the Fujin, like, beginning part of it, he spins also, and it, like, kind of looks like it. So, if you try to throw it thinking it's the other spin, he can whiff cancel, hop over your throw, and, like, punish you for, like, 1,000,000 damage. And so, there's some cool stuff that he could do on offense now. But yeah, like, it just kind of fits into Anji's whole theme of being very, like, he has like all these rock paper scissors like different options off of his fusion, and like now you can do it on whiff in neutral. Like it's actually like pretty annoying to fight it, but it looks so weird. It looks like something out of Mugen. They just like yeah, it's a little whiff cancel. Like all right, but yeah, I think it's quite strong. There's some new combos I think you get now, a couple new setups you can do. I saw like some like meaty I think Rin setups, like with like the fan, I think, and like because you can whiff cancel off of it. Whiff cancel Nagiha is really annoying too now. Like he's definitely a huge winner this patch, and he got as far as buffed a little bit as well.
And then my third big one would be Faust, who I always call Faust because he's not Loust, he's Faust. He got a bunch of good stuff between like breaking the wall with super, which was I always thought that one was kind of random, but he couldn't do that, not gonna lie. Buffs to his normals, and then the J2K being faster. So out of these, at least from my perspective, the two that really matter are the J2K and the wall break super. One, because like it's something that's everyone has a wall break super, but like it made it so that he doesn't have the choice before, because like right now there's some characters like Ram, like Milia, where like they'll do a combo to the wall and they're like, maybe I don't want to break the wall right now. Maybe I want to break a wall with just a normal combo and keep the meter because my opponent has close to 50 and I don't want to play a YRC guessing game. Oh, my opponent doesn't have any meter, I'm gonna break the wall with super. Or like, oh, they're just gonna die soon, let me break the wall with super. Like they have these type of choices, where Faust is just kind of doesn't have, he has no choice, like he has to go back to neutral. Now he can engage in these fun thinking exercises as well. That's very nice. The drill, the biggest thing about it being faster is that it just buffs his mid-range game, because with the drill being slower in Strive originally, like Faust has all these good normals like /, like 2H, like 2K even, but the main thing is they have a lot of total duration. So different characters go about this different ways. They'll try to either air dash over it, or maybe they'll try to 6P, maybe they'll do something unique on the ground that's unique to them. Now, the drill really helped complete this option set because it was relatively low commit, low return, but usually the things you use to beat his ground pokes all lose to drill. And the thing you use to beat the drill all lose to his ground poke. So it was helped really complete his neutral game and his ground game. And in his Stride, he just couldn't do it that much and had to rely on walk back way more. And I think this is a big reason why longtime Faust players were really in the abyss about him, because they're just so used to that, having that complete set with just moves and not relying on the relatively new tool, because I don't think his old walk speed was like that, of like walking back. So now he has the new walk back and his normals and the drill for like just a really complete round game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. After playing him a lot lately, I totally see the buffs in his mid range. They're so much better. Because that was kind of like what you would do. Like you would poke, you would use your really strong mid range buttons, and then they would have answers to it, and they like all generally like before they would lose to Chipp 2K. But yeah, now that it's faster, like it works like very consistently, and because it travels faster too, it's actually better on block, just straight up, because he hits the floor quicker. So there's like a lot of ranges where it's like that it was punishable by 5-frame buttons before, that it's now like even-ish, like kind of like only slightly negative, and you're basically fine now. And you get higher reward off of it if you hit them in the air. So if you get that air hit before, it would just knock you down. Now you can get like a mix like pretty easily on normal hit, and on counter hit, oh man, you get 5K, 6H, you get all this good stuff. Oh, it's great. It's so sick. But yeah, dude, like he got so many sick buffs to his mid range. I'm actually pretty happy with the buffs. At first I was like, oh man, there's no like damage buffs, or like there was like there's no trumpet changes. Like there's some certain changes that I wanted, but I'm actually like pretty happy with the direction they went. They just kind of buffed like what he was like before good at, like with like, this really strong mid-range game. They buffed his 2H. They gave it some disjoint hurtbox of like part of it now. It goes way farther now too. So a very common issue that he would have was he would do far slash into 2H, and that was kind of like the max range of 2H. That was like kind of like the only really safe normal distance that you could like item throw off of, because of item throw having much more recovery in this version. There was a lot of times where you would far slash and your 2H would whiff. And now, for the most part, I'm getting far slash 2H to like always connect on hit and block. and you'll be able to like get an item throw like most of the times. Because before I was like, I hit a FRS, okay, that's it, because this 2H is gonna whiff. So that's a huge buff, and his 5H got a bunch more active frames too. It basically still does like what you used it before. It was like his disjoint button, but now it's like even better and like much more straightforward to use. Like it's so they added like I think like 5 active frames to it, like a ton. Yeah, they added a lot to it. And yeah, his super wall breaks now. So his combo routes like they're mostly involved the tornado, and there's tons of hits on it, so it usually like breaks the wall like pretty easily. So you can't really get the conventional like do full combo wall bound then super. Like you kind of have to like cut some parts out if you want super, but it's still worth it. Like it's usually still pretty worth it if you can super wall break. And I've been finding some setups I've been posting lately with the wall break super. You can like use the afro along with it, so you'll hard knock them down with the afro like after the super. You can mix them up afterwards. It's so sick. I'm actually so hype about the Faust buffs, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays.
I can hear it, by the way. I can hear it. it. Usually the longest segment we've had is on Faust, right?
Yeah, all right. I mean, you'll have your thing when we get to Villia. So.
Whoa, what do you mean when we get to Millia? I'm talking about the biggest losers next.
Oh,
we got the top 3 biggest winners, top 3 biggest losers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, only
losers has to be Swole. Now, before I start though, I am happy with how they nerfed characters for 2 really big reasons. I'm about to come at somebody, by the way, hard, by the way. Just letting you know, prepare yourself. So I understand at Guilty Gear, you know, I joke about it a lot. I'm like, oh, Guilty Gear is for selfish people and stuff like that. You know, we make jokes about this all the time, right? But as I say, truly, my real feeling is, even if you play a character I don't like, you know, like let's say like I don't know, who do I not like in this game? I don't know. Let's say I don't like Leo, right? Even if I don't like Leo, I don't want them to dumpster Leo. You know what I mean? I don't want Leo to have his legs broken. There are people out there who legitimately have fun playing Leo. So even though I might not like Leo, and by the way, I'm indifferent. I'm just like, all right, it's Leo. It's the same stuff as before. Some people really dislike him and they want him to be dumpstered. And people were he was actually a character that people were the most disappointed about, because people were like, oh my god, they buffed him. Where his change is like, I don't want to say negligible, but it's not a big major change. They basically just left him alone, right? This is fine. Like, they actually just want, ApologyMan would know about this, right? Like, we used to meme about Arx's balance. Like during BlazBlue, it really felt like they would just randomly just murder a character, and then they would take some other character and they're like, it's your turn now. For like,
yes.
You know what I mean? And like, that's not that fun to deal with. Because one, you don't know if your character is going to fucking get shot or not, which is bad. Because so then like once the patch is over, you're just sweating like, oh my god, like what are they going to do? And then 2, you don't know what they're going to do to make the new thing busted. So like, again, not talking about Guilty Gear, but like, if you're talking about CS1, like I first heard about ApologyMan in BlazBlue Extend. So we're talking about Continuum Shift. In CS1, I played Lychee for the entirety of CS. Lychee was super busted in CS1. She's double S in CS1, right? Characters like her, Arakune, Taokaka, Valkenhayn, these names might not mean anything to you. I might have to make videos about them, but these characters were really broken for not fair reasons. Like, they were not fair, these characters, right?
Crime characters.
Then, all of a sudden in CS2, while Lychee ended up making it, but it took like a few months for people like, oh, she's mad good, like top 5 good. All of a sudden, all the mids dispensers came out, right? Jin, Noelle, Makoto, right? They're all of a sudden it's about mids for a year, right? Then in Extend, they're like, oh, I don't know, like Well can't be top tier anymore, but like Ragna should be top tier. Oh, remember Arakune, how we dumpstered him? Welcome back. Like, it was just like we just didn't know what they were doing. This is really stressful. We don't want this. What we actually want is that everyone feels like they can play their character and have fun with the game. So that's why I'm actually really glad of how they did the nerfs, despite us going into who are the losers of this patch. Soul is still Soul. Like, he still has the stuff that makes him good. But the way they changed him, I think they did a bunch of good stuff. First of all, the SDP had no business being like that. Just real talk. I think everyone agrees. Even Soul players agree it should not be like that.
Yeah, it was
Soul's
way too fast.
On normal hit recovered so fast that he could meaty you before. He could run up and 6S you and like meaty you that you can't backdash before. Where now it's like normal, right? It's just normal.
Yeah.
It's still a 7-frame DP, which is very good, very privileged in this game to have a 7-frame DP. Even just having a DP is special, but having a fast one like that is really special. But you can like punish it way more reliably than before. That's really good. Some people still mention that Fire Slash is still too good, and that the FD. But the nice thing is that the FD more clearly does something. Where like the FD in the previous patch, if you didn't realize that like if he did anything that wasn't Far Slash, he would be farther back and it affects his block strings. Now you definitely do because he just gets pushed back super far. Even though the second Far Slash will still connect. It's clear that he's very far away and he can't do a third one. And then the last one, people talked about like how they buffed his wild throw, and I'm like, I don't mind like them having this mentality of like, oh, there's some stuff that people don't use that we want them to use, so we'll at least give them an incentive to use new stuff instead of them just feeling like, oh, we just got nerfed and that's it. So even though they nerfed important stuff about Soul, I even forgot the most important one, by the way, which is Success. Which is it has different hitbox that we don't know what it is yet, but it's clear that like it's way easier for the majority of the cast to engage with it, where in some matchups it seemed like the character could not overcome that button. I feel like I get why they made it disjointed like that from the start, because like as I mentioned before in a bunch of videos about Soul, his biggest weakness is that he's not as fast as he used to be. But I think maybe the devs forgot like also most characters are not as fast as they used to be, so like they can't get around this thing very easily. So that being nerfed too is like a really big deal, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Success nerf by far, I think is like the hugest nerf to him. And the SCP one is also big too. But man, the Success, like before, like, you could keep Soul out. Like, I could at least from Faust's perspective and like most other characters, like you can kind of keep him out. But he had like such a strong mid-range button in previous Success that like it didn't, like the conventional way you'd like deal with Soul like just like wasn't the case. Like he had a better mid-range button than Faust. Like what do you like? I was like really sad about that. So now I can actually keep Soul out. Like sure, when he gets near you, his like win condition of like making you block far S and like strike throwing you is still really strong and still really damaging. But getting to that win condition, it was through the Success. Like if that was like the biggest button that he would use to win the neutral game, and now you can like keep him out much better. I'm like much more okay with him. Like his reward's still pretty absurd, but like I'm much more okay with it because I can actually like play the neutral against him much better. The Bandit Bringer nerf actually was another one that was actually like pretty big. Now it's pretty much punishable by every character's like 6-frame button. I believe it's -7. I think, yeah. So you can get a punish on it at like most ranges. Before it was like -1 to 2.
Nice too.
Yeah, and like sometimes if you blocked it like high enough, you could get a throw punish, but you didn't know. It was like hard to tell, and it was like RNG felt like. And then they would backdash, and you're like, "Can I get the throw punish?" You're like, "Oh no, I can't. I guess I lose now." And then they like backdash and counter hit you for all your health. But now it has like a bunch more pushback, and you can get like a pretty consistent punish on it with most characters with like a jab or something. So I think that's a pretty big nerf to Soul, because God, that move was pretty ignorant before. Honestly, I think that was really big, and yeah, I think overall like he's still Soul, like he still does what he's good at, but there are like a couple of things that were a little bit too good about his neutral, where he was supposed to be like strong when he got near you and had to like kind of work to get there. Now it's like he has to work a little bit more now to get in there, to get his really high damage and good like win condition. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
No, 100%. Number 2 would actually be for me Ramlethal. So but it's only really because of one change, and I feel like this really affected basically everyone except for Milia, right? It's about how you jump heavy. So this move's like a 16-frame jump in that I don't know what the new hitbox is totally, but it was disjointed, pretty huge. Your main ways of beating this is like meeting her air versus air, or you I mean, that's it, right? Or you gotta hit the landing recovery. Like,
Well,
you only
you
had a couple of ways.
Get
If you
6p.
didn't
That
play Milia-
shit. That's
If you
something.
didn't play Milia, like, you just can't anti-air this move. Thankfully, Milia, if you're a Milia player, that close slash reaches to the heavens, bro. You can do it. Believe, right? So, they nerfed this, right? They made it. I don't know what they did to like the vertical part, but they made it hit less in front and less behind as well. So there's just like more ways of anti-airing it. And they are trying to encourage people to use the air special move that she has that you don't really see people use at all to like compensate. So like she can still do this anti-air thing, but like she just doesn't get it automatically by just doing her jump in normally.
Yeah. No, yeah. The jump H nerf was pretty big because before it reached so low that like if I like try to 6p it would just counter hit me because it would hit my feet, right?
It always hits you in the feet. Yeah.
It just hit me in the feet. I was like, dude, how do I deal with this move? Now you could actually enter it. That was like kind of like the big thing because she had that combined with like her jump S. It was just really obnoxious to deal with before. So that's like a huge nerf to her neutral. But yeah, just like with Soul, like the way she wins is the same, you know. Like they nerf the ways to get there. So I'm pretty happy with that nerf.
Mm-hmm. And then the third and the last one I want to say is actually Chipp. So you guys don't know, but like before this video, I was actually talking with ApologyMan. I was like, yeah, they didn't really do anything to Chipp. He was like, what? And I remembered, I forgot, Milia Priv, right? Milia Priv. Yeah. I'm good against Far Slash because she got the giant 2K. I'm good against J2K because Milia's too fast, and again she has close slash. So like I was like, yeah, I didn't really do anything to these things. I feel like I'm playing the same, but it does impact a lot of characters. Like most characters don't have fast low moves that reach deep enough to hit the far slash. So a lot of Chipps were, and like thinking about it too after talking about it, it makes more sense why I thought like, wow, so many Chipps are mad linear. Like they just run and hit the button, and I just hit them with 2K. I'm like, why are they surprised? Right, yeah. But I just haven't watched Chipp versus other characters, and of course J2K was the one that many people asked for because between like how hard it was to actually 6p and also like the risk return too. If that J2K is blocked, he gets pressured. The J2K hits, he gets a combo into knockdown. Where like for most characters who do 6p, they don't really get anything. And then like yeah, you can avoid it, but your character needs to be fast, right? If you're playing like Potemkin or something, it's hard to get around that. So. It being easier to anti-air is very good.
Yeah, it's way easier to anti-air. Like I swear, when I would try to anti-air it, I would use my Faust 2K, and it traded like all the time. And I sometimes, like most of the time, like depending on the range, I wouldn't really get a combo. Like I would just kind of trade in and just like kind of go to neutral. It was very character specific, like what characters could deal with jump 2K well. If you couldn't, man, it was really hard to deal. He just kind of mauled you with the now it has like less pushback on it, which they said is a buff, but it's like low-key a nerf, like low-key, because now before you would just do jump 2K and then you would pressure with your 2K afterwards, your low. Now that you're closer, if you do 2K after blocking jump 2K, you can throw them out of it. Like they don't have enough frame advantage to like make that like counter hitter like gapless. So that's also like a pretty decent nerf. But yeah, the far standing S nerf was so nice. Like before that button attached to this character's dash speed was insane, and it just beats so much stuff now. Dude, now I can crawl it as Faust. It's so lit, dude. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Chipp nerfs, but Chipp is still super good, and there's a lot of good stuff about him still. His mix-up game is still really scary to deal with, and he's still super fat. Like he's fine, but yeah, I'm pretty happy that they nerf these things about him.
Yeah, and like as a last point, like that's the thing too. Like these characters are all like, again, they're not coming at the entire character and just wrecking them. Like they're just attacking things. In the devs were specifically like things where it seemed like the majority of the cast lacked counterplay. So for you people who are like abusing things that are hard to stop only, and not even like on a knowledge check level, because obviously there's knowledge checks are always part of fighting games. Just like some stuff that characters can't deal with. You know what I mean? Just can't deal with. Got some bad news for you. You know what I mean? I really like the direction they're going with the balancing so far, and I'm looking forward to the October patch because they said they want to do a couple more changes. So we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the October patch as well. And they also changed the input lag for this version. So we'll see how that plays
that's
out.
a whole other. That's
The
a
video,
you
but
don't want to go into that.
we'll
Yeah,
get
you don't
back
wanna
to you
go
on
into
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let us know what you think. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.